All right, just a little disclaimer for the video. Zoom kind of fucked us about that. I mean, I fucked up. I didn't have the gallery view set up. It was the speaker view. So you're going to see what I see. So when it's more than just me and Bryan, it's only going to be them. I won't be in the video, even though you'll hear me. And when it is me and Bryan, you'll only hear who is speaking. It was my mistake. There was no way to fix it afterwards. It didn't record the gallery view, but none of that matters. It's a learning experience. Won't happen again. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the big pay-per-view. Enjoy this episode. We got Mike Brown. We got Matt Serra. We got off-camera guy. Still a great episode. Audio won't be affected in any way, but anybody on YouTube that's going to bitch about the video, this is your heads up. We know, and it sucks, but it is what it is. So leave us a review, subscribe on everything, do whatever you can do to help out the show, help us get on our feet, and we're going to try to make this thing as big as possible and get the best MMA experts in the world on.
Do you like making money, betting on fights? Is it your favorite thing to do every Saturday night? Do you like some handsome fellas breaking down the odds? Callen and McCormick are the MMA gods. Roughhouse Friday. Roughhouse Friday. Roughhouse Friday. It's a Roughhouse Friday.
Here's the thing. If you like to bet on combat sports, Bovada has got you covered. Let me tell you why. They are the official sponsor of Roughhouse Friday. And Bovada will match your first bet up to 75%. If you bet with Bitcoin, Tom, tell him what happens.
Well, I mean, we should be betting with Bitcoin. It's 2021. What are we doing if we're not betting
Thank
with
you.
Bitcoin?
Thank you.
But, I mean,
first off, payouts are basically instant.
Yeah, and there's no processing fees. Payouts are totally free. So, I mean, you win $1,000, you're going to get $1,000 back in Bitcoin as soon as you withdraw.
Yep.
They were formerly Bodog, by the way. So Bovado basically started as the North America, the United States branch of Bodog, and then they ended up becoming the main company whenever Bodog fell out. So Bovada is trusted. They're top 3 on safesportingbets.com, which is a go-to for most sharks online. They are a top 3 safest sports book in the country. Very safe. Bitcoin, again, painless. They're going to match your first deposit up 75% if you use our link. So you got to go to roughhousefriday.net/bet.
Roughhousefriday.net/bet.
They will match your first deposit up. So you deposit $100, you're going to have $175 to play with.
Our best on Roughhouse Friday to give you the best information so you can make the most educated bet. And we interview guys like Mike Brown, I don't know, out of Top Team. One of the head coaches there. Coach is a guy named Dustin Poirier. I don't know if you ever heard of him. And how many other champions does that guy have? He was a champion himself. Yeah. Mike Brown is, I go way back with Mike Brown, and he's just awesome. I want to have a conversation with him today about leg kicks and when low kicks came into play. We had a good talk about that.
We'll get into that for sure.
Yeah, and Dustin and training and Connor, but we're also going to get his take on the TJ Dillashaw Corey Sandhagen fight.
Yeah, we're going to find out where you should put your money. So go use Bovada. They're the official partner of this show of Roughhouse Friday. So go to roughhousefriday.net/bet. And you'll get 75% match your first deposit in Bitcoin.
And I want to see basically, what we like to do is really focus on just a couple of fights, right? So we're gonna focus mainly on TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen. I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited. I'm nervous because TJ's a buddy of mine. And I'm worried that he's got a big fight. I mean, think about like coming back, and that's the first dude you have. And keep this in mind. TJ Dillashaw asked for Corey Sandhagen. He didn't want a tune-up fight. He's like, give me whoever you got. And there's a picture of him. I think it's on his Instagram. And if he looks as close to a junkyard dog.
Dude. He grew that little beard out.
Oh, bro. He is as intense and as competitive as a human being can get. He's just a
top 3 for me. I'll go on record. Favorite fighters of all time.
He's amazing. And I've seen him. I've had the privilege of seeing him before he goes out to defend his title against Henner Barrow in the second time. And I swear to God, he looked like he was on his way to a tea party. That guy loves the spotlight, loves the competition, a true champion. I mean, he's just...
One thing that stood out to me, you say that he asked for the fight. And what's wild about that is obviously they've trained together. And it wasn't that long ago. I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, probably. It's before Corey really hit his fucking stride that he's in right now. But they have trained together. So part of them knows, that. It's kind of like Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns. Like one of them knows who's going to have the upper hand or should based on practice. But that's fucking practice. That's totally different.
Both come out of Christian Allen, this sort of Christian Allen camp. Christian Allen's kind of a genius. And I think Corey's been with Christian since he was 16.
Yeah.
And I remember I took a private from Christian Allen because I'm a loser and I have no business taking a private from Christian Allen, no business.
Sure.
But I used to go to my boxing gym and I still use the shit that he gave me, like these little tricks that where, I'm fighting dudes who are nothing like me. But when you get a little tutorial from Christian Allen, he'll show you some bullshit, some little tricks that really work against guys who are not fighters like myself. But having said that, I was with him and he said that guy, and he pointed to Corey Sandhagen, and Sandhagen actually went low and then came to the side and threw a liver shot on this dude when he was sparring. And it was I was just like, that guy's the new blood. He said that guy's going to be a champion.
Well, dude,
so
what he did to Frankie Edgar in his last fight. I mean, Frankie, you could say Frankie, it's late in his career. Let's say that. And everybody loves Frankie Edgar, not disparaging him in any way, but that doesn't, so you can go in there against a Frankie Edgar now and maybe, take him 5 rounds and say that he's over the hill or whatever you want to say, that's not necessarily the case, but to put him away with one strike.
I would say that the MMA evolves like everything else.
Sure.
And Frankie Edgar, what came in his primary toolbox was great wrestling and great boxing, great footwork and amazing cardio and, and tough and all that stuff. But really it was boxing and it was wrestling. Yeah. And I think with someone like Corey, who's been watching, and Christian and his team who've been, and Cody Donovan, they've been watching Frankie Edgar. There's so much tape to watch on Frankie. Yeah. So there's a lot to game plan for. You can, if you put enough time into it, you can see openings, you can see tendencies, I would imagine. Right. So, Frankie Edgar's got nothing to prove to anybody, and he's a Hall of Famer. So yeah, he got caught. And I would say that, I was talking to Shab about this, and, Corey Sandhagen just doesn't have the wrestling or the pedigree that TJ Dillashaw does. So if TJ can get past those knees and close distance, Corey's he's going to have to fend off those takedowns.
When I visualize, I mean, who the fuck am I? That's why we have the experts on today to explain it to us. Cause I try to come in, I know you do too, somewhat non-biased and ignorant to it. So we kind of form an opinion on this show, but when I visualize it in my head, I see, I love TJ Dillashaw. So I see a lot of takedowns happening. I see a lot of dominant position from TJ, and I see him grinding him out. But at the same time, you could say the same fucking thing that Corey Sandhagen takes him out on the feet. So you don't see TJ get taken out on the feet like that other than his last fight. I was going to say,
careful now.
Seconds, but not a bantamweight. Not a bantamweight.
It's a very different thing. Yeah. That cut to 25 apparently was a fucking nightmare.
So I watched Chael Sonnen break down this fight earlier, and something interesting he said to your point of them training together and him asking for this fight was Chael, and you one of the best fucking speakers in the sport, period. Electrifying, compelling, all that shit. But you also have to take what he says with a grain of salt sometimes. He loves to fucking play that role. But he said that he was getting calls from TJ's management team whenever TJ was, before he fought Cejudo, and basically was like, whatever you do, don't mention Corey Sandhagen's name. Corey Sandhagen had to be pulled off of him in training. His management called Chael, said, don't mention Corey. Put us in any other direction. Call out Aljamain. Call out Henry Cejudo. Do not bring up Corey Sandhagen. Don't even put us in that direction. We want nothing to do with it. And now he's asking for the fight. So it's like, which one of those?
Look, people say they train together. It means nothing to me because Corey Sandhagen was a kid when that happened. I bet you they haven't trained together in 6 years.
I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago. I don't think it was that long ago, but he's still.
When did he go to Bang Ludwig's school?
I think that was around the Hindenburg time, so it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's been about 5 or 6 years since he's trained with Corey. And Corey, so you can't say they even trained together, really. You really can't. Corey was a kid.
Direct quote from Corey Sandhagen is, "My wrestling fucking sucks." That's a direct quote that he said. That's gonna be trouble with TJ Dillashaw standing in there.
How old is Corey?
Let me see real quick. I can look that up.
TJ's what, 32?
Let's see here.
So young to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think Corey Sandhagen's probably around my age, but he's a very different 28 than I am. I'll tell you that shit. He's 29 years old. Corey Sandhagen.
He's 29.
Sandhagen's 29.
Corey is 29?
Yep.
Oh, wow. So when they were training, Corey was like 25, 24. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was an adult. He was in the US. I know he was part of the camp for the first Hindenburg fight. Because on your buddy Brendan's show, Food Truck Diaries, let me fucking say that right.
Yeah.
With TJ, he mentioned that Corey was brought in and trained with him for the Hindenburg first fight, which is the worst camp of TJ's career, he says. And so maybe Corey pushed him a little bit. He kind of like conceded that maybe Corey got the better of him a little bit, but it was a bad camp. But he did mention that.
When you look at that picture of TJ, like, dude, a human being cannot be in better shape.
Yeah.
You cannot be more ready. It's so scary,
TJ's
dude.
35.
Let me just say something. He's 35 years old.
35 years old, TJ.
It's so scary to want. Let me say this to anybody who's listening. What I admire so much about someone like TJ or anybody who gets in this ring, into this cage, and has been there for a long time, is it goes so far beyond athleticism. What it takes to truly want something that badly, and what it takes to truly accomplish something that difficult, like a championship. Because think about when you're training like that, one little thing can go wrong and something pops.
Yeah.
You make one mistake, you throw a kick and your leg breaks, whatever it might be, dude. You know, that's what blows my mind, is that whenever you strive for excellence, whenever you try to realize your full potential, it's such a precarious and scary journey, because you've got to learn how to talk to yourself. You've got to be really good at keeping self-defeating thoughts out of your brain all the time, and finding inspiration and finding ways to loosen your frame up, finding ways to go in there and work on what you're bad at, finding ways to constantly be getting better, finding ways to know when enough is enough, when to stop, when to push even harder. You're riding that line of balance, man.
Yeah.
You're riding that razor's edge. And that's what I admire so much. That's what I admire. You know, maybe because I've tried my best and failed mostly to be really good at something.
Yeah. You're pretty good.
There's so much failure in trying to be good. There's so much failure in it, man. Most of my career, like I remember somebody's like, do you have any advice? And I was like, well, dude, just sit in traffic for your 20s, 30s, and 40s and just listen to the word no. And you might get 4 or 5 yeses.
Yeah.
That's my formula. I don't know. I'm a slow learner. And then it goes away and then it all goes away again. You got to figure it out. Whatever it is, man, that's my father used the analogy, kicking a sandbag down the road. And that's kind of how slow it takes. You got to just keep kicking that sandbag.
Feet are going to hurt.
I really love that, because I thought that's a great metaphor. That's how accomplishment and getting good at something feels a lot of the time. And that's okay. There ain't any other way. And I don't like making it sound like it's really hard to do. Just get used to the fact that it's a slow process.
Yeah, I totally agree. Does Big Mike, does he follow MMA?
No.
Okay, about to say, let's get him on here to break down some fucking fights.
I know, I'd love it. But he understands life.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and he's never stopped growing. He's never stopped trying to get better at something.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah. Because sometimes just getting better at something can be a philosophy. Like, you just doing jujitsu and working on what you're bad at every time you walk into the gym can make your entire life better and give you a deeper understanding, not only of yourself, but of how the world works. I really believe that.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Like, if you're a piano player playing the shit that you're not good at, working on what you just aren't good at, and learning how to do that and using your time wisely. When you shut your eyes before you go to bed, you can be creating, you can be writing, you can be coming up with an idea for a business. I don't know why this is turning into a Tony Robbins thing.
Yeah, I'm just listening.
But Matt Serra, the great Matt Serra, is going to call in.
Yeah.
And we're going to get his take on this fight. And I'm excited about a guy like this.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Matt I go way back with Matt. I go back when Matt was a brown belt. I knew Matt when he was a brown belt.
Yeah.
At Henso Gracie's.
Really? So I have a story I want to tell, less of a story, more of he kind of started my following MMA so closely. So I told you a while back, whenever we first started talking to each other, that I haven't missed. It's almost like a sad fact, like somebody that fucking shows up like to premieres of every Marvel movie or some nerdy shit. But I haven't missed a UFC event since April 2007. I've seen every one of them, every single one of them.
That's impressive, dude.
Even during like formal important shit where I definitely shouldn't be watching, I'm looking down on my fucking phone and watching. I commentate fights, and I'll have fucking UFC sitting there so I can watch in between rounds. Just fucking on my phone, sitting at the table. So I've watched it, because at this point, even if I don't give a shit about the fight, which is a lot of times, there's people that fight that I'm like, who the fuck who cares about that? Now in my head, it's like, no, that's like a streak that I've had since I was 14 years old. I can't break that. Now in my head, it's
train a
psychological.
little. Why don't you train?
I did for a while.
What'd you train?
Jiu Jitsu with Alonzo Mayers, who was actually my co-commentator for Empire Fighting Championship.
How long did you train for?
Probably 2.5 years.
Did you get good?
No. So I mean,
are you athletic, or you're more of a musician?
More of a musician, I would say. Now, out of all the sports that I've tried to play, because I played baseball for like 9 years growing up as a kid, and then I've tried football and all these other sports. Jiu Jitsu, I definitely took to more than any other. So when I say I wasn't good for a guy that did 2 years, I'd say I was on par of where I should have been. So I was good, but I mean, I'm not fucking going in there and submitting blue belts 10 times in a row. I was I was an advanced
Some guys
white
are like
belt,
that.
I would say.
Yeah. See this? That's a bug of salt.
It's beautiful.
It shoots salt at flies. This should be a sponsor of our show, but they're not. But I actually look forward to having flies so I can slaughter them.
What kind of fucking power does that thing have? I want to see you use it.
Enough to kill. You can get ones that kill a hornet. You don't want to don't make a hornet angry with a salt gun. It's got to be accurate, and don't fuck with a hornet. Just don't shoot a hornet with it, but you can shoot flies with it and they die. It's great, especially if you know how to you got to aim. Sometimes you got to aim higher, lower, but it's beautiful. Look at that color too. It's such a sexy color.
It's a beautiful gun.
Yeah, it's called the bug of salt. I wish I had invented it. The guy who invented it is my neighbor, and he made a fortune.
Jesus, hornets fucking suck.
Hornets?
Oh my god, little.
You ever been stung by a hornet?
Oh yeah, little winged shit devil. It's the fucking worst. Oh my god, you're allergic to them.
Yeah, I get scared. Let's see what's going on with Matt.
Yeah, about to say check on it.
On it, ladies and gentlemen.
This podcast is brought to you by On It Supplements. You can go to onit.com. We'll go ahead and tell you up front. Use promo code Roughhouse. It gets 10% off all your supplements. 10% off of all that shit. You have anything to say about Brian?
Well, you're talking about the best supplements on planet Earth. You're talking about supplements that are held to the highest standard. You're talking about supplements. The owners, the people that started on it, would use the product every day. I know that for a fact. Saw it with my own eyes. Some of the more productive people that I know use their products. I use their products. I'm a huge fan of Shroom Tech. I'm a huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of their protein powder sweetened with monk fruit that doesn't spike your insulin. I mean, they take every detail of your health into account, and they're always up to snuff, up to the literally, like whether it's krill oil, there's a very deliberate reason why they source the way they do. Yep. And all you have to do is you can go to their website, you can look it all up. They will explain why they source those particular ingredients in that order. And if you like working out and you want to work out in your own home, they've got crazy workouts. They've got the best equipment. My home gym is full of On It stuff. Yeah. They've got the best home gym stuff you can find. Those workouts at the On It gym in Austin are some of the best of my life. They last 30 minutes and it's all you need. So On It.
Yeah, I drank some of this Alpha Brain Instant right before we did the podcast because this is a big brain show and it helps a lot. Yeah. That stuff's incredible. It also gives me wild dreams. I watched Ed Sheeran beat up Conor McGregor in a ladder match and Betty White was the referee.
That's impressive, dude.
Yeah,
That's
so I mean, your brain's firing off whenever you're in your REM cycle, everything. I mean, it's it works. It works.
I love that.
Go to onit.com, use promo code Roughhouse for 10% off all supplements. That's ONNIT.com, promo code Roughhouse.
There we go.
Let's fucking
all right.
go.
Not bad. Let me see.
We got Matt Serra. Matt Serra's been trying to figure out Zoom for the past 10 minutes.
Wait, hold on.
There he is. Look at him.
Did you got me or no? Do you hear me?
I got you. We got you.
You're in. You're good.
First of all, my dear old friend, don't make me sound like a fucking Neanderthal. I do Zoom every week on my podcast. You're giving me a fucked up code, and I'm doing the big U, the small K. I'm doing it all right. It didn't work. Then you send me the link. Press on this.
You know what? I'm projecting.
Brian, it's not working. And the best is when I write back to you, it's not working. And then I get back. This is what I get back. It's working for us. The fuck? What do you want me to do with that?
Listen. I'm projecting. I'm projecting. I'm the caveman. Matt, you and I, by the way, we go back. I know you when you were a brown belt. How about that?
No, you know me before that.
Maybe even before that.
No,
right?
That.
Isn't that crazy?
We were on Henzo's on 27th Street.
Yep.
And between 7th and 6th.
That's right.
And, it was right in line with MIT.
Right.
It was a nice little fashion college place, whatever. So, but yeah, I never forget. Gracie Kukoc. It was Gracie Kukoc back then. So it had to be around like 97 or 98, I'd say.
Yeah, it was actually 96, 97. I think that's what it was. Yeah. And I remember you gave me a lesson and I was like, how are you this good? And you were like, this is what I do. It's what I want to do with my life. And I was like, oh, okay.
Come on, lad.
You were in May. And by the way, nice to meet you. I'm sorry.
Nice to meet you, Matt.
Oh, Tom, the great Matt Serra. Matt, you look great. I swear to God, you look like you haven't aged. I swear to God.
Hold on.
I'm not
What?
kidding. Oh,
What?
look at the arms. Look at the arms.
I'll lift up my fucking shirt. Don't tell me to. Listen, you know what I'm doing, Brian? I'm still rolling. That's what I'm doing. That's all I do.
That's amazing.
I'm not running. My knees are fucked. Eventually, I'm going to have to do a Bisping. Eventually, I need two new knees.
Is that true?
But I can still roll, though. Ain't that amazing?
All right. So is the knee damage from running or from jiu-jitsu?
It's no, I don't think it's from jiu-jitsu. But what do I know? I mean, all I know is they said it could be genetic, but it's bone on bone. So, like, if I show you,
look, you're a pro athlete. You ran it as hard as you can run it.
They said wear and tear, plus maybe just the way I'm built. But eventually I need new knees. But running's out of the question. But I'll tell you right now, I rolled for like a fucking 50 minutes yesterday.
Wow.
I'm at a lot. So that's what keeps me in shape, because I'm not touching that VersaClimber since I got done fighting. You know what I mean?
But your face, I mean, you look young. So there it is. Congratulations. Congratulations, young man.
Well, there's been times, Brian, when I have a fat face. So I've been laying off the gluten. Is what I've been doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, how have you not been on Food Truck Diaries for some fucking gluten-free pizza with Brendan Schaub?
We got to get him on there.
Fucking Brendan never invited me, is one.
There you go.
I might be able to influence him. Hey, Matt, let's break down some fights, man. Let's get into this shit.
Tell me what I'm a part of right here. This is your new podcast?
Well, this is Rough House Friday, which is basically, it's a betting podcast. I want to give people who bet on it, combat sports, the best information. I want them to make educated bets. It's for me as well. I want to talk to guys like you, and I want to see if I can actually put what you tell me to work. So I want to get your breakdown.
All right, don't throw curveballs at me. Who are we talking about? What are we talking about?
We're talking about Corey Sandhagen and TJ Dillashaw.
Oh, I had a lot. That's going to be a fun fight.
Oh, yeah.
I like that a lot. I like Corey Sandhagen in that fight.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Very interesting.
That's why.
Dillashaw, we're going to have to see how he looks coming back. I mean, it's been a couple years, right? It's been 2 years.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some say it should be more, but it is what it is. It's weird. It's weird with him. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, just recently people they asked, hey, man, you want him on the podcast on my thing, Unfiltered, with me and Jimmy? I didn't want to even talk to the guy. You know why? Because I don't care. My thing is, I didn't want to bring him on as a guest and not like the guy, not want to I don't know, Brian. I have a hard time when a guy is caught cheating, and then he said he got caught. So it's not like and then he's like, oh, well, listen, I'm owning up to this. Dude, you got caught is one, and two, I never once heard him apologize to his guys he fought. Or supposedly the one time he did it. But
well,
whatever.
Remember, USADA went back and checked every single one of his samples and found nothing. And it was the 125-pound fight that he was caught doping. And I do think that a 2-year layoff where you can't earn a living, that's a pretty big punishment. I think, and he has, if you listen to some of the stuff he's talked about, he's taken full responsibility. So I do think that there is redemption in life. And I do think that, athletes, there's so much pressure on athletes to do certain things. And I think, the sanctions were real. You get 2 years in the middle of your career. It's got to be a tough one. So
yeah. Okay, Brian, I understand. That's one side point.
Yeah, I think some people would call fighting Corey Sandhagen after a fucking 2-year layoff a punishment too.
Hold on. Before we start breaking out because Brian broke out the violin for TJ. Hold on one second. I want to talk to you about that, Brian.
Okay.
I understand. It's rough. Oh man, 2-year layoff. You got to feed the family. Maybe, just maybe, with him fucking doping for this fights or whatever, or for the fight, maybe he caused some damage to fucking Cody. Not Cody. I'm sorry.
Henry Cejudo.
Cody.
No,
Cody Gambro.
No. Well, he wasn't doing anything against him.
Listen. My point is this. Well, the alpha males are saying he's been doing it forever, but my point is this: he could have took way more than 2 years off somebody's career. You know what I mean? So I don't feel bad for this dude sitting down on the couch for 2 years. You're fucking taking EPO to get, so you're not going to get tired. So you could just really, your body's a weapon. You're not getting tired. You're looking to inflict, the goal is to inflict bodily harm, to take this guy out. I still have no respect for that guy for that, because he never once apologized to the guys he fought or the guy he fought. Did he apologize to Henry? Hey man, I was cheating, dude. Sorry. Did he? Did he ever?
I think he did. I believe he did. Yes.
I would love to hear the soundbite on that.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he did. Yeah. And Matt, well, let me ask you this: what percentage? Let's get honest. What percentage of fighters back in the day, before USADA came along, were doing something? The pressure's pretty enormous, right? It's like baseball. I mean, even only you can hurt somebody. I mean, that is always the knock, right? It's like Michael Bisping got his eye fucking kicked out of his head by a juiced up Vitor. So,
exactly.
but yeah.
So I mean, the point is, like, I was in there, so I know personally. I know. Personally, I did it before USADA. I know I never did a thing, and I'm going for the most deadly guys on the planet. So, fuck, if they're all doing it, then fuck. I mean, you know where I give some slack as far as legacy goes and stuff. It's for the guys over in Pride, because all those motherfuckers were there.
Yeah, they wanted you to do it. They told you to do it. Yeah.
I was like, oh, you didn't bring it in your suitcase. Here you go. I mean. But that was a freak show. So it's like, I don't know, man. I know what it's like to get ready for these things. I know what it's like to step in there, and it could be the best night of your life or the worst night of your life. And for somebody to get an advantage in there, it just doesn't sit right with me. You know what I mean? So I don't feel bad for that he set out for a couple of years, because he could have gave somebody fucking brain damage and he would have done it unfairly. And then what? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Whatever, guys. Let's get to more positive shit.
I hear you, and I appreciate it. I mean, I appreciate your perspective on it, because you, like you said, you were in it. You paid a price for it. It's. I always say, Matt, one of the things I really admire about someone like yourself is anybody who tries to be the best in the world and accomplishes it like you did. That is, people don't realize how difficult it is, because I always say, you got to learn how to talk to yourself, right? You got to learn how to keep self-defeating thoughts out of your own head, especially when you're walking that cage and they lock that cage. And I would imagine that is truly where you separate yourself. Oh yeah. I mean, like, I can only speak from my own experience, so the mental part of it is huge, but I was, I just like relished the role. I loved being the underdog. I couldn't have been happier knowing that when I fought for the title, that everybody thought I was going to get my fucking ass kicked. I fucking loved it.
Matt, I wanted to tell you that I was telling Bryan this a while ago, but one thing that I take weird fucking pride in is that I've seen every UFC event, all these fights, even ones I don't give a shit about, for so long, because I started when I was 13 or 14 watching all of them, and then it just became a streak. So even if I didn't give a shit about the fight, I'd make a point to watch it. So now I've just seen every one of them for 15 years now, and the reason I think that's relevant here is the first one that I watched to start. I'd watched Tito fight Ken Shamrock and Chuck Liddell and a couple of the older ones whenever I was young. And then, and I'm 28. So when I was 14, I was with my older brother at a Buffalo Wild Wings in Pascagoula, Mississippi. And we were watching you versus GSP 1. Good. And my brother bet a steak dinner on you to win. One, yeah. My brother bet a steak dinner on you to win. And I fucking loved you ever since. But that event was the first of this streak I'm on, to where I haven't missed one. April 2007. I haven't missed an event since. Wow, that's right, man. Matt, what do we think about? Tell me why you take Corey over TJ, if you're betting. Because if you look at Corey Sandhagen and look at all his fights in the UFC, look at some of the guys he's fought, and he's gotten better in pretty much every fight. The only slip up was Aljo. Right. Aljo gets anybody's back, they're losing the round, if not the fight, because it's hard to. I give Pedion a ton of credit. He would rather, when he's up against the cage, he'll take a knee, a punch, anything, rather than give his back up. That little Russian, he was that killer. Like he was backing into a fucking igloo. He's not giving back up. You know what I mean? So he's smart. So because Aljo on the back is a problem. So besides the Aljo Sterling fight, which was over, the second Aljo got that back, unfortunately. Show me where this kid's looking fucked. Show me where this kid's getting taken out. He's special, on his feet, on the floor. Special. He's very special. The there was a Brazilian. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. I remember because I was studying the kid when Aljo was going to fight him. But he almost like he started a fight in a triangle armbar. They got so, and I'm like, I mean, he's almost like double jointed. He got out of this thing and beat the kid's ass. His ground and pound is excellent. He's got a wiry jiu-jitsu game. So it's not like you can just take this guy down and mount him. He's crafty. The fact that Aljo got him,
Aljo is that 1% that could get him. I mean, but Aljo is world class when it comes to certain things.
And that was one of those.
But isn't wrestling a liability for Corey? And TJ's so good at wrestling, not to mention very unorthodox in striking. But his wrestling is unbelievable.
Yeah, but his wrestling. But where is that going to lead him? It's going to lead him to the floor, to a scramble, and I don't know if that's going to be necessarily to his advantage. I think Corey's got a lot to show down there. I think he's going to be crafty down there, and I think if the game plan is to mix in the takedowns, that could be that. I think it's going to be harder for, let's say, TJ to control him down there. So he might get a takedown or two, but I think it's going to be a scramble. It's going to be threatening. You're going to see guillotines. You're going to see triangles. You're going to see he's a wiry guy.
Yeah,
and not to mention he's not an easy guy to get down.
He's not.
He knows how to use his range. He's accurate. That knee he landed on Frankie Edgar was just. I mean, that wasn't luck. That was just. I mean, listen. It's going to be a great fight. I'm really excited about it. No matter what, I think TJ. I think he's a competitor. So much that it probably caused him to make bad decisions. But I just think that, I think that this Corey Sandhagen is just on fire.
He's a lot bigger. He's a lot bigger than TJ in terms of, he's a lot taller. Corey's almost 5'11". He's pretty tall. He's a big. He was. I think he was fighting at 45 for a long time. And now he's at 35.
I heard this stat from John Anik earlier that before the Frankie Edgar fight, who never had a fucking chance to do it, Corey Sandhagen has been taken down in every fight he's ever been in. But most of those fights he fucking got up and won. So that's not really, you know what I'm saying, a telling stat.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point.
You got 5 rounds to do it. You got. I mean, TJ never had a problem with his endurance, but dude, Corey's in the fucking Colorado mountains and shit, dude. He never had a problem with endurance, and he looks masterful with some stuff standing up, man. Look what he did with Lineker. I mean, look at it. I was there live for that. I mean, he was like a fucking.
He's like a ninja. Yeah, he's a Christian Allen disciple, man. He's.
I always said TJ reminds me. Sometimes he does that like Achilles shit. Like he's fucking. I love that shit. Like doing the old fucking hey and fucking. I love it. I like it. I like the Wade Ludwig. But I think he's going to get outmaneuvered here. I really do. I think it's going to go 5 rounds, and I think it's going to go to Sandhagen. I don't think he's going to get him out. Did I? No, I'm trying to think of the exact prediction I gave, but I believe it's going to go to distance.
Well, I will say what we didn't do, what we've been doing is giving the odds from Bovada, who are partnering with the show. So if you go to roughhousefriday.net/bet, you can bet on these odds. Sandhagen is the favorite at -200, and Dillashaw is the underdog at +160. But also the over 2.5 rounds. Over 2.5 rounds is the favorite at -130, slight favorite. So you can make some money betting on it to go past 2.5 rounds.
Well, I don't know. All I know is that I think it'll probably go past 2.5 rounds, and I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. I'll tell you that much.
I'm excited, man. Tom, should we ask Matt about the Bellator title fight with Pitbull?
Yeah, you have any opinions on Pitbull versus Aj Mckee?
Against who?
Aj Mckee is the finals for the featherweight title.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. And I'm not shitting on Bellator. I'm not being a shill. I just don't. With all the UFC fights, dude, and I watch that because I do UFC Unfiltered. Yeah. I'll get the Bellator when it's on. Yeah. Like if I mean, Gracie.
But you're not watching it.
I'm not doing it. Not doing it religiously. And I can't even. And I love watching fights in general. So if it's somebody good, like I'll try to watch it. But I don't even know dude, it's under my radar. I don't know why I don't even. I'm like,
I'm the same way, Matt. I'm the same way. I'm the same goddamn way. I got too many fights to watch in the UFC. They do them on
Fridays too, which will throw you the fuck off. It'll be over, and you're like, oh, I thought they were weighing in today.
And a good fight is a good fight, but they just don't have the production thing. I don't know, dude. When there's a UFC fight on a Saturday night, dude, I was just a fan before I even got in there. So I get like, I know my day. Like I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the school. I'm going to teach a 9 o'clock class. And then I'm going to hang out. I'm going to do some rolling. I'm going to do some bullshit, hang out with my kids a little bit, get home, take a little nap. So I'm all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, have a little espresso. And then I'm watching my fucking fights. I'm a simple man, Brian. You know that.
You're a good man, brother. It's so good to see your face, man. I miss you. If you ever come out to LA, you better fucking call me. You got a place to stay.
Are we done already? This is it?
I have a question for you before we let you run.
I want to bullshit more. Okay,
I love it.
First of all, do you have any songs you want to sing? We'll fucking let you do it. We're not gonna turn it down like Jimmy.
Oh man, Jimmy doesn't let me sing.
I think we should change your nickname to Matt Serra Nade.
That's not bad. He takes the wind out from my wind out from my wings. So no, I don't have anything you know, it has to
Listen, you did a good job as a comic. I'll tell you that much. I thought you did a great job. I was there live, for God's sake.
And then I thank you for that, because, you know, first of all, Dana White looking for a fight. If any of your audience doesn't listen, I've never seen that before. It's a fun show I do on YouTube with Dana White and my buddy Dean Thomas. We look for talent for the UFC, and we do some shenanigans. Like we rode a bull in Texas, and then we did dog sledding in Alaska. It was so great. So great. And then, I tell you, Brian, and I'm telling you this because I really respect what you do. Because I can be a silly guy, but I know I'm not a stand-up comedian at all. I'm not a comic, but I respect what you do so much, because when I went up there, I'll tell you right now, I felt like, I even said that to you when I give you a hug and kiss after. I
kiss on the lips by accident.
I felt like I want to fight, because it was you know more than anybody, even though you're probably so used to it. I don't know if you get those same adrenaline as you used to.
I used to, not anymore. But I mean, believe me, there's nothing more terrifying when you got to get and be funny in front of a whole room full of people. And Dana was sweating. Dana showed me, he goes, my forearms are literally sweating. And by the way, somebody else wrote that shit for him, but he did a great job with it.
You know, kind of fucked us on that, but he cheated. It wasn't supposed to be Dean Thomas. It was supposed to be the Tooth. So Dana's way of thinking is that the Tooth ended up leaving that weekend on like a fucking all of a sudden. So we had to we called in Dean, and then Dean's been with us since. But his thinking, Dana, was going, look, first I thought it was going to be some open mic at something. I didn't know it was going to be at a real comedy club. Right. And then, like, I saw on Twitter or somewhere, it was like UFC comedy night. I go, holy fuck, dude. I don't know what the fuck to do up there, you know? But, and he made like he wasn't doing anything either, but he fucking flew in Tony Hinchcliffe.
I know, it's bullshit. But I got to tell you, Matt, you did a fucking great job. I swear to God. You did a great, you were charismatic and you were funny. I swear to God.
What I had going for me is that we had the UFC crowd there, which is good.
Yeah.
And
you were funny, dude.
I only had one bit, and I never had another bit since. And the whole thing with the Adrian and the Rocky thing. It's the only bit I ever had. I was so proud of it, because one time I did that thing. I talked about that my thing with the whole Adrian bit, and I did it on the radio podcast, and I did it with comedian Dan Soda was there. You know Dan Soda?
Yeah, Dan Soda's great.
He's a nice guy.
Great.
But after that, I never thought of it as a bit. And then he goes, hey man, that was a real good like bit or whatever on that Rocky thing. He goes, I never heard that, but something like that. And I go, oh wow. I go, that's maybe what they mean by making a bit. So I had that in my head before I went up there, and I kind of winged it or whatever. But hey, dude, I appreciate you for having my back. I feel like you almost worked my corner for that.
I did work your corner, because it was just, I could see you were so nervous, but you surprised the shit out of me, and you killed
it. Felt good. It felt good.
We'll get you up again. Come out here. Let me know. And do me a favor. Tell my favorite person in the world that I never see, Hensel Gracie, that I love him.
I thought you were going to say Jimmy Norton. Do you know Jimmy?
I love Jimmy too. I love Jimmy. Tell him I say what's up to.
He's nowhere near your favorite person, though.
I love him. I don't know Jimmy well, but I admire him. I admire him. I love his comedy. I think he's one of the greats. One of the greats.
Now, what are you doing? Are you back doing anything with Brendan, or you're not?
I'm doing Fighter and the Kid. I'm on the road. I'm doing all my stuff. So you know, it's been a dark year, Bubba, but I'm back. I'm here doing my thing.
What is it now? You guys. Were you guys the first one to do that with the comedian and the fucking Were you the Fighter and the Kid?
Yeah.
Because I know where I do it with Jimmy, and then there's also
Lewis and Michael.
Yeah.
Lewis and Michael Bisping, the great Michael Bisping.
Yeah, it was me and Shab. I mean, we just decided. You know, I said to Brendan, I said, "You tell great stories. You're funny. Let's do a podcast together." And that was it. And the rest is history.
But why do you think it works with the rest of us? Not I'm up to our own ones, but I think we have a good chemistry. I know it's about chemistry.
Because you've got a great personality and you have a point of view, Matt. And it's podcasting is hard to do, and I'm learning that with a lot of people. There's just some people that you can bullshit. You and I we could do this right now. You and I could do this for 3 hours. We wouldn't run out of a fucking thing to say. I don't know how we do it, but you have a point of view on shit, and you always have, and you have enthusiasm, and you think about a lot of things. And I don't know, I just, and it's fun to listen to. It's just interesting to listen to. So I think that's what it is. I think when you feel deeply about the world and you have a strong point of view about what's fucked up and what's right and why we're going in the wrong direction and why we're going in the right direction. And then you're just into random shit like fucking, crocodiles and fucking whether a bear can beat a gorilla. It just, I could start any conversation with you, Matt, and you can just go.
Well, I know I could just mention fucking Star Wars or video games. We can get Matt going for 30 minutes on it.
Exactly.
Why? Are you into either one of those?
I love all of this shit, man. And
I'm into
your
all of
excitement for shit is contagious. I think you specifically, the reason people like to listen to it is you're a fucking little beast of a person. I say little.
It's fine.
He's not so little.
You're a big little beast of a fucking person, but you get so goddamn giddy and excited about stuff that you like that shit is contagious. People love listening.
Well, he's always been that way. You've always been the guy who walks into the room and you actually make people laugh, and you love people and you love the situation. And Henso's the same way, by the way. Henso could be a hell of a podcaster.
Anytime I had Henso on, you guys got to get him on one of yours. I don't know if you ever.
I would love to. I
had
miss
him on in studio. It was always, it's fucking, Henso is, guys like Henso, guys like Ray Longo, they give me hope that I never truly have to grow up. I get around martial arts and everything. Brian, I still kind of like the same kid I was when I met you, when we were just on that's bullshit.
You are
always around young people, I think.
I know.
It was funny, Brian. I was rolling with a guy the other day, and I'm like, I rolled it. I got a little something in. I rolled with this guy, and he's a little older guy. And I found out the guy's the same age as me. I go, I'm looking at him like he's an adult. I'm going easy on the guy's my age. I could have went to high school.
Never grow up. I'm a jackass. I'll always be a jackass. It's life is too short to take it that seriously. Let's fuck around and have a laugh. You measure your life on how many accomplishment is great, but the other side of it is how many laughs do you have? How many times are you laughing with your kids? How many times are you laughing with your friends? Everything else is a fucking bore.
Why is it always measured on the wealth? Why is that always winning? Don't get me wrong. You don't feel like you're winning if you fucking don't got a pot to piss in. But if you're doing well and you got a good, right now, my quality of life is my school. I'm like a hermit. I just go to my school. I'm here. I do my podcast with Jimmy. Once in a while, I'll go out with Dana and them and have a good time. I mean, why does it have to be with the bigger house or the fucking yacht or why does that have to be the thing that's ultimately winning? It's not. That's an illusion. And you realize that when you meet people that have all the wealth, and you realize that they are all they want to do as well is just hang out and laugh with their friends. That's what happens. If you ain't having a giggle, especially after you get to a certain age, you're miserable. And so one of the things you have to work at as you get older and you get more accomplished is make sure you preserve your relationships. Make sure you work at your relationships. Yeah. It's so important, man, because you need them. You need people. You got kids now, Brian, or no? I got 2 kids, buddy. I got a 10-year-old on Sunday. He turns 10, and I got a 13-year-old. So there it is. Wow. Boys or girls? Boy, a 10-year-old boy, 13-year-old girl, Belly. All right, 12, 10, and 8, all girls. So. Oh, my God.
13 and 12, girls in the other room.
Oh, yeah? All right, listen, Matt, we got to let you go because I got people waiting in the wings. I got
the great Mike Brown on the way.
We got
shit, man. Mike Brown. What is this? Wait, hold on. What is this episode? Everybody under 5'6"? What is going on here? What the fuck am I?
Everybody under 5'6" will beat the shit out of everybody over 6'4". So there it is.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I love you, pal. It's so good to see you, man.
Nice to meet you, man.
You're the best.
Nice to meet you, brother. Hey, take care, guys.
Thanks, buddy. You're the best, man. Appreciate it.
Later, Brian.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks.
Yeah, Matt's one of those guys that you need a fucking hour. You got to let that dude go. Did you notice you could see in his fucking psyche the switch whenever you went from talking about we went from talking about TJ to talking about something like a little more lighthearted. When he went from talking about TJ to talking about Aljamain Sterling, those are 2 different people inside of his fucking head.
He's amazing. He doesn't fuck around. Matt's, it's part of what makes him a great podcaster and just, a really interesting personality.
Yeah. All right. Okay, off camera guy. I like it. I like that.
Right.
So we'll start fresh.
Yeah. So this is, I'm bringing on a friend of mine, and I've been friends with him for about 10 years, 12 years. I'm talking to my fans. Just hold on, off camera guy. I'm talking about you. Let me sing your praises for a second. The reason I want to get you on, off camera guy, OCG, is because you love being anonymous, but you are without a doubt, so unbelievable at predicting not only who's going to be a future champion. You were talking about Conor McGregor before I knew his name, and you said he was going to be champion. You were talking about Yoel Romero before anybody was talking his name. You said he was going to be what he was. You were talking about Peter Yan before I knew who he was. I've never seen anybody predict better at who's going to win a fight and who's going to be a champion than you in my life.
You want to know my secret?
What's your secret?
PBS.
What is PBS? Public broadcasting.
You learn so much on public broadcasting. You just pay attention. You too can call a fight.
All right, fine. Well, listen, TJ Dillashaw, Corey Sandhagen, what's your call?
You want the quick version or you want the real deal?
I want the real deal,
The
man.
real deal.
Okay, so here's the reality of this. This fight boils down to one thing and one thing only. It's a fight IQ fight.
Yeah.
Both of them have very, very predictable behaviors. Corey Sandhagen likes to do the same things over and over again. He switches to southpaw only when he wants to throw the inside leg kick or the liver kick. So anytime he switches, 100% of the time he's throwing that kick. He throws no hands from the left side. He throws no shots, no clinches, nothing. So when he switches, it's very predictable what he wants to do. He's just looking for that body kick. And if he can't find the body kick because of your hands, he's going to the inside leg. Very easy to predict. TJ also switches all the time, but for a different reason, because TJ's background is from collegiate wrestling. So he spent 90% of his life squared up or standing as a southpaw, as a freestyle wrestler. Even though he's predominantly a right-hander, he feels very comfortable being a left-hander because most of his shots and clinch comes off the left hand because of his wrestling background. He's far more versatile from both positions because he can shoot and strike as a right-hander, and he can shoot and strike as a left-hander. So when he switches on you, it's less predictable what he's going to do, and he has more tools from that. Where Corey, when he goes left-handed, he's a one-trick pony. He's going to throw that left hand. He's going to throw that left side kick. That's all he's going to do.
Do you think TJ knows this?
Well, TJ, maybe not. TJ's coach, 100%. So it really comes down to a fight IQ game. Corey has a lot of very bad habits. Great athlete, love the kid to death. He stands up very tall when he's dealing with freestyle wrestlers, which is very bad because of his kickboxing background. He doesn't have a wrestling background. He has a basketball background. He's not a high school wrestler. He's not a college wrestler. He played basketball. He's a kickboxer. He stands up very straight, which is a bad situation if Dillashaw wants to wrestle, which is ultimately the key to victory to this fight. The key to victory for Dillashaw is the right hand, because Corey Sandhagen constantly drops his left jab hand all day long, hangs it down like he thinks he's Floyd Mayweather. He is no Floyd Mayweather. He cannot leave his hand down there. He's going to catch right hands all day long, which he's caught throughout his career from other guys. So the right hand is going to be something that Dillashaw is going to concentrate on, and then the inside single. And Sandhagen's wrestling is not at the level it needs to be to keep a guy like Dillashaw off of him. The reality is, if Dillashaw really wants to put him on his back, he can put him on his back. And I don't think Sandhagen's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt is going to be enough to really do much for him on the ground when he's getting punched in the grill by Dillashaw. So the keys to victory for here is to Dillashaw to go back to what he never does, which is wrestle. Because like a lot of wrestlers, like Dan Henderson and other wrestlers,
Fall in love with their
when
hands.
they start striking, they fall in love with it. They realize, wow, I hit really hard.
Look at
I
Yoel
don't
Romero.
wanna
Look at Yoel Romero. He never wrestles.
Yeah,
I don't
look
want
at
to
him,
wrestle
best body in
anymore.
MMA.
Yeah, like literally, I don't want to wrestle anymore. I just want to punch people in the face. If you watch Dillashaw over the last 4 or 5 fights, he's fallen in love with his striking, and he thinks he's a great striker. So his ego loves for him to stand up and strike. The question is his coach smart enough to talk him into wrestling this fight?
Right.
So really, it's an IQ thing. So if he wrestles, I think it's Dillashaw for sure. If Dillashaw stands up with him, now you're looking at a 60-40 fight. 60%, Sandhagen has the reach, the height. He's a bigger man. He's a better striker, but less versatile. But the reach is what's really helping him out dealing with Dillashaw. The other thing is Dillashaw, like a lot of wrestlers, like Woodley and other wrestlers, cannot fight very well moving backwards. He only fights well moving forwards. So if Sandhagen pushes him, presses him, that's when Dillashaw makes a lot of mistakes. And if you look over his career, he's always made all his mistakes. When he got caught by Garbrandt, when he got caught by Cejudo, when he got caught by anybody, it was always when he was being pressured and backing away. That's when he gets smoked.
Wow.
So
Yeah, the last one that comes to mind to where he used his wrestling pretty much the majority of the fight and put on a fucking masterful performance was UFC 200 against Rafael Sunsao.
Yeah, Rafael Sanza. Right.
And I think if he has that same approach, then yeah, I think that is the path to victory. But like you said, I don't know if his ego will allow that. I hope it does, because I'm probably betting on
that's where the fight IQ problem comes into play.
Right.
One, has Sandhagen's coaches recognized that he always moves towards the power hand of a right-hander. If you watch Sandhagen, he always steps towards his left, which is the power hand of whoever he's facing. Constantly. He's constantly moving to the power hand, which is a very bad habit, specifically if you leave your jab hand hanging down around your rib cage. He does that all the time. His switch kicking, he needs to add some shots. He's never, ever threatened any shots in his last fights. He's never added that puzzle or that riddle. Even if he can't take Dillashaw down, if he just gets Dillashaw seeing something different from the southpaw stance, like maybe a jab and a drop level inside single, he's not going to get it. But now Dillashaw's asking more questions like, oh, okay, is he just going to do what he always does, kick from the left side, and I'm just going to sit there and wait for that body kick because I'm not worried about the inside kick? Or is he now going to fake the kick and shoot an inside single on me? It's a coaching IQ question in this fight. So we'll see.
You always blow me away with how much you know about fighting. You blow me away, dude. You blow me away with the way you can see like all these patterns and things that people do. It's like it just blows my mind, dude. And it's just like, for you guys to know, I've off-camera guy hasn't really rolled seriously with jiu-jitsu in I don't know how many years, and I have it on very good authority that he walked into a jiu-jitsu school and tapped all the black belts. You're like Rain Man.
Well,
you're just on a different level. You're just on a different level, dude. Like I mean, Tom, have you heard? Did you ever did you expect him to be this detailed and this analytical about breaking down what happens?
That was very elegant. I'm ready for the comments on this so everybody can try to guess what he looks like.
Oh, dude.
Well, let's keep that to a minimum. Yeah, but
he hates fame. I love this guy.
It's just a description of Rain Man.
Here's another prediction. Here's another prediction for you. I don't care who wins this fight, to be honest with you, but I'll tell you who has zero chance against Peter Yan. Either one of them. Unpleasant.
Be a little bit more respectful, please. Peter Yan, how is Peter Yan that good? What makes Peter Yan so good? Okay,
first of all, Aljamain Sterling right away saw the problem with Corey Sandhagen. Can't defend a takedown. Gives you his hips. So took him down and choked him immediately.
Right.
When the same gentleman tried to do that to Peter Yan, he got an education in what we call the sprawl.
Yeah, Aljo was 1 for 17 on takedowns against Peter Yan.
Peter Yan literally out-wrestled him. And then when it came to striking, it was like an abusive husband at a drunken bar mitzvah, just bashing it. Okay?
But I couldn't see what he was doing. He was and it was so subtle.
Well, he's on another level. He's like a Khabib of 135. But add striking. He's on another level. He's a different animal.
So he just walks you down. So neither one of those guys have a chance against Peter Yan.
Zero chance. If I was either one of them, I would literally take a loan from Bank of America or Wells Fargo, whoever you prefer to bank with, and I would bet against myself to fight Peter Yan because you're going to get smoked.
Well, technically, Aljo's the fucking champ now, so maybe they should just focus on him and not even mention Peter's name.
The best thing they could do is pretend Peter can't get a visa to get back in the country because they should not want to fight the guy.
He's that good.
He'll smash them very easily.
Is there anybody in the 35-pound division that you believe can give Peter Yan a fight?
Only one guy that could give Peter Yan a problem, and that's Henry Cejudo, who's retired.
Oh, okay. Just
and
Henry Cejudo.
Yeah, he fought 135.
The only reason why Henry could give him a problem, Henry could not strike with him. But what Henry can do, and don't confuse TJ Dillashaw, who wrestled at Cal State Fullerton, okay, with a Henry Cejudo. Those are two different levels of wrestlers, okay? Henry Cejudo is an Olympian, and he was the very, very young phenom Olympian out of Arizona. He can chain wrestle like no one else at that weight class. So he can force, very similar to what Khabib does if he's smart, he can force you to start a wrestling exchange, and he can drag that wrestling exchange out for extended periods of time if he wants to. And that will allow him to most likely catch Peter Yan and ground and pound him. But outside of that, no one else has a chance against him at 135 pounds. Peter Yan will smash them.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
That's
whenever
amazing. I've never seen you be wrong, off-camera guy, ever in those kinds of comments.
Well, I'll tell you what.
In 12 years, you've never been wrong about that.
I just paid my mortgage for the next 2 years on the McGregor fight.
You did?
Yeah, because I called the first rounder on that.
You did?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And why did you call it first rounder on that? What made you, why were you so confident?
I wasn't confident.
Because by the way, for everybody to know, I know that's true because you texted me right before the fight. You said Poirier round 1.
Yeah. Well, the bookmaker offered me 10-1. So, because he thought it was so absurd that I thought I was going to go 1 round, that he ran his mouth and said, in front of 2 other bookmakers, he literally said, "I'll give you 10-1." And I said, "Hold on, give me a minute." I went out to my car and came back with some cash.
So that's amazing. So you why did you think that?
Well, 2 reasons. One, McGregor's already hit his prime. He's over his prime. The bell curve, he's on the other side of the bell curve. So his climb back to greatness is gone. He's not coming back to greatness. He's done. Especially if he runs into like an Ishmael or someone like that. If Dana White gets upset with him and runs him into like an Ishmael.
You're talking about Islam. You're talking about Islam Makhachev.
Yeah. If he runs him into like an Islam.
Is Islam going to be the 155 pound champion? Is that just a given eventually?
Yes. Yeah. I don't. The only guy I actually think that can give Islam a problem is Oliveira.
Yeah.
I think the 2 guys that really have the wrong formula for Islam is Chandler and Gaethje. They
have the wrong formula.
Yeah.
What is that formula?
The formula is American freestyle wrestling.
It's not going to work against that Dagestani Greco Sambo shit.
Gaethje's already felt the realities of what happens. And so the same thing's going to happen with Makhachev. Makhachev can strike better than Khabib. He's going to control the distance. And then when a clash of heads occurs, Makhachev's going to end up on top on the ground. And neither of those 2 gentlemen are going to be able to escape.
Because he's just, why are they so good, off camera guy? Why are they so good?
This is what you got to understand. Like, American wrestlers are speaking English. Khabib and his guys are speaking English and Russian. Oh yeah. And they're speaking Spanish and they're speaking French. So
they're coming at you with techniques you just haven't seen.
Yeah. So when you're doing what you are told you should do, because everybody in English does the exact same thing. So when you speak English and I speak English, we both have the same outcome. Also, you speak English to me and I speak Russian to you, and you have no idea what to do.
Because you haven't seen these moves, these transitions, all that stuff.
Well, I'll give you an example. The Khabib Dagestani handcuffs, the wrist ride. The wrist ride has been around forever. Okay, since Gable, people have been reaching back and wrist riding to run a crowbar or run whatever, or turn off of you. But the way he does it and when he does it, and the fact that he never lets go to advance to another position, is what really stifles guys. Like, he breaks down the bridge, but he never lets you build the bridge back up. He just could keep the bridge broken down all day long. He doesn't get like anxious, like he needs to start to move to a better position. And that's what kills guys, because they've never dealt with anybody like that before. So yeah, they do some takedowns that are different. I mean, and there's not a huge Sambo presence in the US. So these guys aren't getting really exposed to this type of takedowns, specifically against the cage and other things. So that camp is speaking a different language, but they're also rolling around with D1 wrestlers. So they speak the D1 wrestler language too. And then they're rolling around with high level Brazilian Jiu Jitsu grapplers. So they speak that language too, but you don't speak their language. So that's the problem.
That's
so
fascinating.
When the transitions happen, you get lost in the sauce.
So let's get back. Corey Sandhagen, TJ Dillashaw. What is your call? Where are you placing your money?
Okay, again, it's a fight IQ. If Dillashaw's coach is smart enough and you see Dillashaw shoot an inside single off the left side, which he'll do as a southpaw, if he does that within the first 2 minutes and he's able to put Corey down, I'm going Dillashaw.
Okay.
If he doesn't shoot, if he tries to do a strikeout war, if his ego runs over and he thinks he wants to do a highlight reel and he tries to strike with Corey, can he still catch Corey with the right hand? Absolutely, because Corey continues to move to the right side and continues to leave his jab hand down the whole time, giving him that opportunity for a right hand. but the odds are lower because Corey's already taken some shots from some very strong guys, and his chin is held up. So if it's a chin contest, Dillashaw loses. Henry Cejudo has already shown that if you want to do a chin contest, Dillashaw is not going to stand up for very long. And Garbrandt has done the same thing. Garbrandt sat him down
both
as well.
Garbrandt fights,
Yeah. So if it's a chin contest, the bigger man, Corey Sandhagen, walks away victorious.
Well, on Bovada, if you go to roughhousefriday.net/bet, you can get TJ Dillashaw at +160 and Corey Sandhagen at -200. So gun to your head before the fight starts. Which way are you leaning? What are you going to put it on?
Oh, I'm going to go Dillashaw.
Me too. Let's fucking go.
I love it.
I'm going to go Dillashaw. I think Ludwig is just too smart of a coach, and he's going to explain to him that you got to put him on the ground, for.
Yeah. I think if he fights him like he did Rafael Assunção, then that's going to be a long fucking night for Corey Sandhagen. If he does, if he chooses to go that route, I think that's the clearest path to victory. So,
all right, off camera guy, that was amazing, and I will call you after I'm done. We got Mike Brown in the wings. I'm gonna get his take, and we are good.
Well, do me a favor. Edit the hell out of this. Get rid of my ramblings and just use the highlight piece.
I loved everything you said, dude. Honestly, I loved everything you said, and you're going to be a regular because I don't think there's anybody that breaks down fights the way you do.
No, I enjoyed that a lot, dude. It was nice to meet you.
He's on a different level. I'm telling you, you're talking about this guy's a genius, and I'm going to tell you why, but that's a whole different story. But you're the best. I'm going to call you later. You're one of my favorite people on the planet. I'm going to call you later.
All right, you stay out of trouble. Good luck, guys.
Thanks, brother.
So good, dude. So good.
Hey, Brian, do me a favor.
Yeah.
When you're podcasting, could you not have a black and white picture of yourself in the fucking frame?
Dude, I'm getting a backdrop that says House Friday. This is only our second episode. I'm sorry.
You have a Ego Master. You have a picture of yourself.
It's so obnoxious. It is obnoxious.
Yeah,
it's the corner of my house I use, and I should take that down. I'm
let me guess. You didn't know that was there, right?
No, I knew it was there, but it feels so small because I'm looking at myself and it's an inch big, but to other people, I'm.
It's funny because it's an old photo when you actually used to have guns. Right, you can almost see a bicep there.
I got mats in my garage, bro. Whenever you're ready to go, let's go.
Sorry,
I'll see you later, you son of a bitch. Stop laughing.
Didn't mean to laugh out loud.
Bye. Hang up on him, Tom.
All right, hang up.
OCG, thank you. He's great. He's so good, man.
Fuck yeah,
so
that was nice.
Yeah. Now we got Mike Brown.
We got a sideways Mike Brown.
Yeah. Is he in?
He's in. He is sideways, but he is in.
Oh, Mike Brown. The great Mike Brown.
No, you're sideways.
You're sideways, bro.
Oh, look at him.
How do I change that?
There you go, buddy. There you go.
Is that how I do it?
Yeah. Look at Mike Brown. Mike. Look at him. Look at that red beard. You look like a Scottish berserk.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know if you get IMDb credits for it, but I think you have the most episodes of Embedded. You have to have the most appearances on the planet.
I got to be up there.
I mean, did you ever think you'd be this successful you were a champion and you were a longtime champion and all that stuff. But did you ever think you'd be this successful as a coach?
It's a team, man. The team is a monstrous team, so
yeah.
I'm just riding the wave of the American Top Team, man. We got a bunch of studs. And
well, it's what I expect from you because you're very modest, and part of what makes you a great coach is your modesty. But listen, dude, when you're that successful, how many people have you cornered that are top 3? I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, a bunch. I don't know.
Yeah, a bunch. So American Top Team has an amazing group of people. You got Thiago Alves there, who's still fighting, still bare knuckling.
Monster, world champion, bare knuckle world champ now.
He's bare knuckle world champ.
How about that?
He's one of my favorite people on the planet, by the way. And he's also so knowledgeable. Thiago's so smart. So you got so much brain power. And you guys are always with Dustin. I was lucky enough. Last time 2 times before when I was in Florida, I got to hang out with all 3 of you guys. And Thiago gave me a Muay Thai lesson, which I have no business being in that fucking gym, but it's such a thrill for me, like a kid in a candy shop. But Dustin just looks so fucking good, man. I was just so happy for him. Is there a better guy? Is there a better dude in the planet? He's such a good guy.
Yeah, and a monster, man. Just straight monster.
A monster, man. He's a fucking monster.
Yeah. Did you see Pitbull's last his bare knuckle fight where he won the bare knuckle title there?
I did see it, and he's a killer. He's just like I can't imagine having to fight him bare knuckle. I cannot imagine it. It's just terrifying. I've
looked up to him for years, man. He's a gladiator.
He's a gladiator.
Real life gladiator.
he'll be a guy we'll get on, but I'm just so thrilled to have you on, dude, because very few people know the fight game. You and I had, before we get into breaking down the fights, you and I had a really interesting conversation today about when the low kick came in, because with Jose Aldo, and you know this well, this guy was coming in your weight division and kicking dudes in the leg so hard and so fast. And so you weren't a stranger to this, but it was mostly thigh kicks, right? It wasn't low kicks.
Yeah, as far as I know, this has been like a big topic for many people. The calf kick got popular, and I believe that it was from our gym. It spawned from our gym in 2010 to 2012.
It was that long ago.
What's that?
I don't remember.
I guess Jim Miller versus Nate Diaz is the first time I can remember seeing it.
Yeah, but it was going around in our gym. It was getting really popular. The first guy I ever seen destroy a guy and finish a fight was Wilson Govea. Now you'd have to go look at and it was in small shows. So this wasn't a big show. This is Wilson Govea destroyed a guy in the MFC. He won like in Canada. He messed the guy up with a calf kick, dropped him, beat him up. And then his next fight in Fight Time down here in Florida, destroyed the guy with calf kicks, TKO'd like 2 minutes, same deal. It was like, whoa. This is like 2010 or 11. This is small shows. People don't really see this stuff. And then everyone in our gym is doing it at this time, and then I don't know what the first high profile fight was, but it just became, I know Benson Henderson was the guy in the UFC that was doing it pretty early on. There was some other guys.
I remember Benson would do the weirdest thing. Benson would punch you in the thigh.
It
was the strangest thing.
That was weird. Yeah. He was the guy that was doing that.
Just sock you in the fucking
maybe the only
thigh.
guy that I've known to really do that.
Yeah. I know.
That's that's right.
Toothpick in his mouth, punching you in the thigh.
He was such a unique.
He had his own style.
What a guy.
But did he throw the calf kick? I never saw that.
He did. He was a guy that was using it pretty early on. And he was a southpaw, so kind of.
But does that come from Muay Thai, Mike, or no?
No, I don't think so. I remember asking Wilson, because Wilson was the guy who I first remember doing it. And I think his answer was like, oh, somebody did it to him and it hurt him. So he said he was going to start trying it. And then the coaches, Cattell Kubis, and the coaches at our gym were then started implementing it into the kind of the game or curriculum. And then, everyone's been using it, man. It's been a, then when you got like Dustin messing up Connor with it in that first fight, this is as high profile it gets. So in those big main event, high profile fights, everyone is studying this stuff. Even your casual fans are.
Every Muay Thai gym in the country, every MMA in the gym in the country is the next day is like, we got to start doing calf kicks, right?
Yeah. So this
every
is
street
as big
fighter,
as it gets, right? Everybody in the world doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, but you better have the fucking shins to do it, or you're gonna break your leg.
No, but that's the thing. You got to like that. I think you're onto something there. I think there's some conditioning that takes place, right? That's why people do the body conditioning. They rub the stings on their shin.
Yeah.
Years and years of hitting the bag, hitting people, whatever. You don't want to just go 0 to 100.
If you do that in your 30s, I think if you do that in your 30s and you implement that as a main focus in your training, and you haven't done that to date, I think what happens is your bone probably gets compromised. You get hairline fractures, whatever it is. And then you bring it against somebody. The hard part of somebody's like, knee or shin, and bang, so that's sort of the liability. And I think after Weidman and Connor, two high pro fighters, seeing that nasty shit, I think you're going to see people who are way more hesitant to throw the calf.
They should be.
I really do. Yeah.
Especially early. And you can't just go in there and think, oh, I'm going to throw it as hard as I can and destroy this guy. Because if you do land shin to shin, you're going to break your leg in half.
That's one thing Ray Longo said about the Chris Weidman fight is he knew when he started that kick, he threw it with every bit of his soul behind that fucking kick.
And it was the first exchange, so he has maximum power, that nervous energy. In the beginning of the fight, guys are kind of scared and nervous, and they're throwing with everything they got, motherfucker, here I come, and
although what I saw with the Connor Poirier fight, that third fight, you saw these two experienced veterans, and they were just relaxed. They were just kind of moving and kind of feeling each other out. It was just the only thing that gives you that is experience.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel comfortable fighting, Mike? Would you ever feel comfortable, like when you went in for a championship fight? Did you ever feel relaxed, or was it always hell?
I mean, you get better at it, but I think as you go, you get more relaxed. I think, yeah, the fight was always not so bad. For me, the worst was the walk or the build up. The build up always sucks. You know, once you're fighting, that you're just fighting. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's get to the meat of it, man. I don't want to waste your time. You're a busy man. Break
chop.
down Corey Sandhagen, TJ Dillashaw. This is a combat sports betting podcast. I want an educated opinion so I can put my money where the brains are.
This isn't easy because there's a lot of question marks involved here, right?
Yep.
We got a lot of question marks, specifically with Dillashaw, right? Nobody's seen this guy in 3 years compete, right? Something like this, 3-4 years, whatever. 3 years.
2 years. I think it's been 2.
In 2018, right? 2018 was his last fight.
January
right, Tom?
19, I think. January 19. So it's been
was it
2.5 years.
Okay, 2.5. All right, so we're in the middle. 2.5 years. What's he been working on? I'm sure this guy is super dedicated. I'm sure he's in there. He's working. He's developing new stuff all the time. I'm sure he's getting better. But how much is the ring rust going to affect him? He's also 35. He's not 28. 35 is a little bit. Now we're starting to get to that upper echelon of age where things start getting a little shaky with some guys.
Like point, like you might lose 0.3 seconds of speed or something, right?
Exactly.
Reaction time, weird shit like that happens.
Right. But that could be meaning getting hit or not getting hit.
Yes, it does.
In a fight. And obviously the PED thing is an issue. How much were those helping him?
Well, to be fair, USADA did a very careful, in-depth study of all his fights, and the only fight that he tested hot for, the only fight, and they did it an extensive. They looked at his blood and urine from all his fights, and it was the only time that he was dirty was when he cut to 125.
They still had his blood from.
Yes, they did, and that's important for people to know because, there's this idea. Well, he was always doing it. Well, no, they looked at all his samples.
Where did you see this?
It was doping. It was not. It was Shab was talking about it.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, it was not. They always go back. So USADA will always go back and test all your samples.
They keep an A and B sample and they tested everything from his past fights because I believe
Cody
Garbrandt asked them to do it.
Yep, and he tested clean for all of it, especially the Garbrandt fights, especially those fights. So.
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, and it was doping. It was there's steroids, there's doping, there's testosterone, there's all that stuff. But this
right.
Yeah. So your money is. They say TJ's got the wrestling advantage.
I would say yeah, that makes sense. He is the wrestling advantage.
If you were coaching them, this is a better question. If you were coaching, I'm going to ask you to coach. If you're coaching TJ, I want you to give me your game plan, and I'm going to ask you to do the same.
I mean, I don't know. Dude, these guys are both like super high level mixed martial art guys. Both guys can do it all. I mean, I would say Dillashaw has a wrestling edge just because he's got a much higher pedigree, but these guys can do it all. I mean, I think it's about, if I were a betting guy, which I am, I'd probably go Sandhagen with the fact that he's been so busy. He's looked so sharp. He is the younger guy, and we just don't know. There's too many question marks when it comes to Dillashaw, and he might come out looking like a ball of fire. He really could. So this is definitely by no means slam dunk or easy money.
Why do you think TJ called Corey Sandhagen out? Why do you think TJ called for this fight? Does he know something we don't know?
I mean, he probably wants the most high-profile fight he can get. Maybe that was the guy that was available or that made sense, and that guy that's in the top 5 or whatever it is, the guy that's not fighting, or if he knew he wouldn't get a title shot, whatever it might be. But I mean, both guys are super high level, well-rounded, elite MMA fighters. And I mean, guys that everybody's studying. These guys are doing a lot of, new age, innovative MMA stuff.
Do you study them?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked it up.
So your money's on Sandhagen.
Yeah, I would put my money on Sandhagen.
What were you going to say?
I was just saying that I looked it up to try to find the source of where USADA said they did that. All I could find, and I didn't look too deep because I was listening to you, but is a quote from TJ himself saying, USADA told me they'd put me under a microscope when I got in trouble. They went back to all my fights. They collected samples back all the way back to the Dominic Cruz fight. They kept an A and B sample of every time I got tested, and everything was clean except for the Cejudo.
So USADA does that. USADA does that.
There you have it. TJ said.
No. It's not TJ.
I'm saying I don't know where the source is from.
No,
USADA's
done that with a lot of. I know that they've done it with other fighters. That is standard. I believe that's standard operating procedure.
I've heard that too, but I don't know.
Yeah.
How
I don't see what you're saying.
No, I've heard that too, but I hope they do. That's interesting, but I don't know. I don't know. And they might have.
I don't know. So let's close this up. You're saying Sandhagen is a smart money.
Yeah, I mean it's not easy pick, especially because Dillashaw is the dog, right? He's like plus 1.
Yeah, he's plus 160 on Bovada. Go to roughhousefriday.net/bet. Get 75% of your first deposit. You can get those odds, but he's plus 160 and Sandhagen is minus 200.
This is pretty close. This is pretty close money. You know, this is not a bad bet either way. But I think that where we have the long layoff and the 35 years is like Bryan said, this is when the reaction time slows, the tiniest of fractions, you know, and when we haven't seen him for so long, it's a little bit too many question marks is what I'm worried about. But obviously this guy is elite. This guy's a UFC champion. This guy is got a lot of tools, a lot of weapons, and can do it all. But the youth, it's a young man's game, man. That youth is.
It is a young man's game, dude.
Yeah.
Ask Tony Ferguson or any of those guys. It's
you got it.
It's so brutal.
Time will catch up with you. When's your time? Is
Father Time is undefeated, and he just once he touches you.
There's
that thing, and it's no matter how tough you are, we all it doesn't matter. Nobody gets out of this alive unless you're Bryan Callen. That's why they call me the kid.
And look at Sandhagen. Yeah, forever young.
Yeah.
And look at Sandhagen. These last 2 performances have been his best. Unbelievable.
I know.
Frankie
He's
Edgar,
coming into his own.
Hall of Famer, legend.
He's coming into his own, man. So let's see.
Marlon, yeah.
All right,
he made the most of this time. The time off, the time where he was talking about he was at home training. He's developed. You're seeing more evolution ever now. You're seeing guys developing techniques that nobody ever dared to try before. They're trying new, crazy, flashy stuff, and it's working.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's such an exciting time, and I can't wait for this fight. I cannot wait. Mike Brown, you're one of my favorite people in the business, so I appreciate you, brother, and I'll see you the next time I'm in Florida, as always.
I can't wait.
Yeah, brother, I got a whole new act for you. Speaking of which, if you guys, I'm going to be at the Ontario Improv July 29th, 30th, 31st. And then I got American Comedy Club August 4th, which is a Wednesday, one show, August 4th, American Comedy Club. Get your ticket to bryancallen.com or tfatkz.com. Then I got Houston, Texas, August 19, 20, 21. Everybody.
Funnier than Albert Einstein.
That's what that's what they say, brother. And
Funniest
Jesus.
guy I know.
And Jesus. You're the best, brother. I appreciate you taking the time, man. You're the best. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate
you, pal. Later.
Love you guys. Later.
Love you.
Love you. All right, Bryan. So make your fucking official pick. What are you going to put money on Saturday?
I'm going TJ Dillashaw. I'm going TJ Dillashaw. Let's be honest.
I
got to do it.
I will say, in all transparency here, I think my mind might have been made up before this episode.
And you're TJ?
Oh yeah, I'm TJ Dillashaw the whole time, and I was hoping someone would convince me against it. And Mike held a good thing. I do think with Matt especially, I think some people are going in a little bit like hoping it doesn't go too well for him. You know what I mean? I think, but Corey Sandhagen's a bad motherfucker. But my money's going on TJ Dillashaw. It's just
they're all a nightmare. They're all
too experienced.
You get TJ, then you got Aljamain Sterling, then you got Peter Yan.
Don't forget, Jose Aldo's looked fucking great since going to 135. He's fighting Pedro Munoz. That's a great one.
But Jose's also 35 years old. Again, we're back to that. But yes.
It's just fucking killing.
No, Jose might be 32. Jose might be 32.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that's like insanely young for how long he's been on top.
Yeah, it's nuts.
He's talked about retiring and being a professional soccer player. That's fucking real talk.
Well, I love that guy, and I admire Jose Aldo so much. He's such a special human being. He's such a special person.
Well, let's wrap this up.
Another Rough House Friday, buddy.
Yeah, everybody go to roughhousefriday.net/bet. Get your bets in. Match your deposit up to 75%. Go to all the dates. Look up what Bryan just fucking told you to. Go listen to Rushmore Podcast. That's my other show. We have Ray Longo and Brad Williams next week. So go check that out.
Love those guys. Those guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a weird
episode.
All right,
brothers. bryancallen.com for all my live tour dates. And I'll be in Denver in September. I'll be in Houston in August. I'll be in Buffalo in September. My God, I never stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, subscribe, leave a 5-star review if you can. All that shit you're supposed to do. Send us any suggestions at Rough House Friday at gmail.com. Send us your bet slips if you bet with us, all that shit. We love to see it. Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
See you. Oh, and we are taking, let's go ahead and say this now so we don't have to worry about it next week. We are taking next week off. There will not be a new episode next week. We'll be back for the next UFC pay-per-view.
We just do big fights. We do big fights.
It'll be the heavyweight title fight and the Amanda Nunes bantamweight title fight. We'll be back for those. See you guys.
All right, man.
It's a Rough House Friday.